Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty stripped down. Got a good frame section. We'll get into the bottom side evaluation next in the next installment. But we were, pretty optimistic on the bottom side. The chassis, looks okay. Somebody's replaced this quarter panel and not done a very good job of it. You can see they spliced it in here, but unfortunately, in here. But unfortunately, this was the second time this panel had been replaced. You can see these are not factory welds through here. So this all needs to come off. We're not going to be splicing it in here. We're going to do a full quarter panel replacement. Inner tubs, probably going to go with mini tubs on the inners just to get a wider tire on the back. Something that'll handle the horsepower I'm going to throw at this thing. And inner and outer tubs, trunk deck, although it's a valiant effort, I think that would be more hassle to use than not. So that's gone. Rear tailplate is gone. This rocker, this is the rocker, the quarter panel that came on it. And I think that was held on by 5 self-drilling and tapping screws, so I took it off. Kind of see what we got going on here. Let me shed some light on the subject. Yeah, somebody has replaced the outer wheel tubs. Interestingly enough, did not do a real good job of it. Went through all the time and effort to separate those and kind of did a half-assed job of it. This door mounting has some issues. There's a couple bolts broken off in the front hinge, so I can't get it close right now to kind of evaluate. But what I want to do with this is I'm going to throw the laser on it, run it down through the center section, and take some measurements out to various points on the chassis on both sides. Try to figure out what is straight and what isn't. The rocker panels look good on the top, and from what I can see from the bottom, they look good too, but we'll know more in the next episode when we do the evaluation on the rockers. The rockers on these cars are a real treat to replace, so my fingers are crossed that they are in good shape. Somebody has replaced some floor pans, the lower floor pans in the back seat. You can see, I don't know what that patch is there. That I don't know. That almost looks factory to me, but I've never seen it or heard of one. I don't know. If somebody built that pan, that little patch, that square patch right there, hey, good on them. There's also been some work here to the, there's various patches where it was rusted. The front floor pan has been replaced and kind of hack and whacked up into the tunnel. The tunnel, I don't know. There's a strange bulge in the tunnel right there. I don't know. It looks like somebody beat it with a hammer. I have no idea why they would do that. The clearance was not an issue here, unless they had some other motor in it, that transmission combo that just didn't work. The dash is kind of interesting. It does not appear to be in the right place right there, but I got to research that a little bit more to be sure. I'm going to check the squareness of the windshield frame, make sure that's all squared up properly. The back seat panel. The gentleman that I bought the car from had this outside. He had some pieces of wood across the back of it down onto the dash, and you can see the dash in the rear seat support took the brunt of it. So those have got to come out anyway, so we'll probably just replace them. But we'll see. Maybe I can straighten that one. This rear filler panel is pretty much toast as well. We're going to be that deep. We might as well pull that too. The little dimple in the middle of the bottom structure, I'm hoping I can get that pulled back up. This part right here, I don't know. We'll see. Replacing that bottom structure is a little bit more of a mission. Of course, with the convertibles, They had these flanges were beat over at the factory. That's actually normal, believe it or not. Interestingly enough, I don't think they replaced the whole outer tub, because I still see red paint up in here that you wouldn't see if they replaced it. So it looks like the outer tub, they might have stopped it right here and just patch welded it in by the looks of it, which kind of sucks. I'm sure that's going to come out really nice. Or maybe it'll just fall out. Who knows? Dash needs a little work. Yeah, she's a little rough. But, you know, like I said, I have everything for this car for the most part. The top is completely roached. The frame will need to be rebuilt and whatnot, but it needs a new top. But once the rest of the body's coming along, it'll be good. Like I said, the internal panels and the internal rocker that I can see right here looks really good. I mean, you can tell when they cut the other quarter panel off, the original replacement was welded here. Whoever put the new replacement on didn't bother. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. You can see this did have a quarter panel replaced previously. Right here, there's another weld that was exposed. And of course, this whole thing is friggin' roached. Now, oh yeah, she's awesome. A few parts in there. The trunk gutter, I don't know, it seems okay. I don't really see much problem with that. Once they media blast that, I think it'll, well, except for what the hell is that? Yeah, we got to take a look at that. I don't know. That actually looks like, maybe it is. Maybe on this one, on the Firebirds, this trunk panel, can't really tell. Usually this gutter piece is a separate piece from the body. It clearly looks like there's some seam sealer in there for some reason. I don't know why this was cut. This is disturbing. So probably gonna have to replace the gutter rail as well, but we'll see. I'm gonna brace this entire thing up. I'm gonna build a frame brace in the middle. I'll probably take this seat back out first, just so I can extend it into the rear and pick up some points. If I try to keep everything as square as possible, once I get it measured up and verified that it's starting square, I think that's probably the smart play. I've seen a lot of guys do this. I want to make sure that I have everything locked right in before I start replacing floor pans and quarter panels and stuff like that. One thing I'm gonna try is I've been told time and time again, I've studied YouTube University extensively over the last few weeks. One thing I've learned is you want to build your internal reinforcement, your temporary cage. You want to build that with the car sitting on the floor taking weight. And I kind of get that. What I've done is I'm going to put this up on the lift, level it up. I'm going to take a bunch of measurements. Then I'm going to set it on the floor and take a bunch of measurements. And then I'm going to pick it up by the pinch welds underneath on the rocker panels and take a bunch of measurements. I'd really like to know if anything really changes, because if something's changing radically or changing at all, I'd like to know. It might point out another problem that I've got going on here that I don't necessarily know about yet. So yeah, this will be a fun project. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This is going to take a couple years probably before this is all done. Yeah, is what it is. So looking forward to it. I think at the end we're going to have a product that makes it all worth it. Like I said, the gentleman I bought it from had been spent last 10 years collecting parts on eBay and whatnot for this, and so there's a bunch of pieces that go with it. How much I can use, how much I can, I don't know. You can see right down through to the floor right over here. You can see right outside. That was nice work. quality job right there. But we'll make this thing right. And if, as long as the rockers are good, everything's straight, and I have something up here that I can count on being in the right position, all of the convertible braces are all in place. Everything seems to be holding okay. Nothing, I can't move anything, so I can't find any indication that this car has ever been in an accident or been hit, which is kind of unusual. Next installment, when I evaluate the bottom, I'm gonna plumb bob all the points, pick up all the data, figure out exactly what I'm working with for straightness, and find out if this thing is a pretzel. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Oh yeah, here's my personal favorite. Somebody decided that really needed to be streamlined. So it looked like they beat it in with some sort of hammer. No idea why anybody would do that. That's asinine. But I will, I'm sure somebody had a very good reason, but I've got to straighten all this out, replace this panel. That will be a fun exercise, I'm sure. Pretty sure I got to replace this firewall too, just because it's so stove up underneath there. And if I do that, I'll probably just do a heater delete model and put in a modern heater internal, and then use that area to hang my my control box for the motor. So that's where we're starting. Should be fun. Should be a good time. When I was building my car in high school, I had it in the metal shop. My dad and my uncle went in and looked at it, and they were all hemming and hawing. "Oh my God, it's rough. It's nothing to start with, blah, 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 blah." Shop teacher said to him, Mr. Joyce, who was one of my mentors in high school, really super excellent educator, not just in shop class, but in life. Really, really cool guy. Anyway, he looks my father right in the eye, and he said, "Are you crazy?" And my dad says, "What?" He says, "You got a teenager, and you know where he's spending his time and where he's spending his money. The way I got it figured, you got it made." So, you know where I'll be spending my time, and you know where I'll be spending my money. Now, Mr. Joyce, if you're listening to this, that comment doesn't really work on your wife, I found. That was a different story. So, apparently the prospect of me having something to spend time and money on, not nearly as attractive as a parent. So, anyway, I'll drag you along as much as I can on this, but this is where we're starting from. Okay, finished evaluating the body. Took my laser setup, found the center of the car, and as many points as I could, all those white paint marks you see down through the center of the chassis. And then I used those paint marks to check widths. And I checked widths particularly in here in the back floor panel section, where I was most concerned that the top of these quarters had splayed out or something. Nothing. Everything was exactly where it should be. There's some nonsense going on here with the window gap. This panel is junk. But the inner panels are all exactly where they were. Now, also did a little experiment here. I measured the points here that you see with the arrow up to that hole point and that point with the arrow. I measured the bucket, the door openings and the bucket on the lift. Then I set it down on the tires, remeasured everything one more time, and there was no difference, which amazed me. I expected a little bit of, folding when the weight of the car was not right under the door, but it was quite good. So that was great. I also measured the squareness of the windshield. Now, and obviously it's not square, but just made sure I had the same cross dimension. That would totally suck. You get this car all done and painted and then go to throw the windshield in and find out the frame is racked. So confirmed that was good. Not only good, it was great. All my center marks seem to hit the mark. One thing that alarmed me at first that I wasn't aware of, the tunnels aren't in the center of this car in the back. The tunnels are offset slightly. Let me see if I can get a better view of that for you here. So I kind of expected that to land right in the center of the tunnel, but apparently they offset it slightly so that it lines up better with the pinion yoke on the rear end. So I think the mission is fairly clear from the top side. Everything is pretty square, level. Everything, I haven't taken the time to re-level it since I put it back on the lift, but yeah, it was pretty enlightening. Took a lot of good data, some measurement points. Now I can jig this up internally, get that all lined up, support everything before I pull the floors out, and I know exactly where it's got to go when I put it back. So that should be good. One thing I still want to do is measure from the inside of this rocker to the inside of that. I got to set up some calipers to do that because I don't have a spanning tool or anything like that yet. So, yeah. So time to start worrying about building the support structure, get everything braced up, and then we can start knocking stuff off. But overall, super pleased with how strong and square this car is. I'm amazed considering its age, but I guess that really just comes down to it's never really been in an accident. So again, worth understanding. Yeah, okay. I'll bring you guys back when I have something more.